What if China and the US went to war? A conflict between China and the United States would have severe global consequences. As two of the world's foremost superpowers, their clash would impact international economics, military strategies, geopolitical alliances, and humanitarian conditions. A China-US war would disrupt the global economy drastically. Both nations are central to international trade, China as the top manufacturing hub, and the US as the largest consumer market. The conflict would sever trade links, causing global stock market crashes and collapsing supply chains for vital goods, like electronics and pharmaceuticals. This would lead to a global recession, widespread unemployment, and severe economic hardships, especially for developing countries reliant on trade with these nations. The conflict would likely start with cyber attacks on critical infrastructure, including power grids, communication networks, and financial systems, leading to widespread chaos. The use of artificial intelligence and autonomous weapons could introduce unpredictable elements to warfare. Physically, the South China Sea would probably become a major battleground. With significant naval engagements, the risk of nuclear escalation would be high, given the extensive arsenals of both nations, potentially triggering a global arms race. The global balance of power would shift significantly. Countries would be forced to align with either China or the US, altering long-standing alliances. NATO members might support the US, while China could gain backing from Russia and other nations. Critical of Western dominance, the United Nations would struggle to mediate, weakening its role in global governance. Regional powers like India, Japan, and Australia would face critical decisions, potentially influencing the conflict's outcome and regional stability. The human cost would be immense. Major urban centers in both countries would face significant damage, leading to massive civilian casualties and displacement on a scale seen since World War II. Global food security would be threatened due to disrupted agricultural production and trade, potentially causing widespread famine and malnutrition. Humanitarian organizations would be overwhelmed, exacerbating the crisis. Post-conflict, both China and the US would emerge weakened, with substantial economic and social scars. The global power structure would likely become multipolar, with no single nation holding dominant influence. International relations would be strained, and global governance institutions might require reform. The experience could foster movements for peace and disarmament as the world reflects on the impact of large-scale warfare. A war between China and the United States would have profound and lasting effects across economic, military, and humanitarian domains. Preventing such a conflict requires prioritizing diplomacy and international cooperation.